Welcome back to Allison Customs Project Car TV. This week, working on a 52 Chevy pickup. Got a small blower, big block. And my part of this project is just to get it wired. And we're not actually going to be stringing all the wire today. We are just going to try and get all of the holes cut where we need to put grommets, all of the placement of all of the pieces figured out so that any holes we need to drill, any studs we need to weld onto the smooth firewall to hold a bracket or to hold whatever, all of that can get done so that this truck can go from here off to get painted, and when it comes back, then we'll actually be stringing the wire. Now we do need to figure out, you know, things like the fast fuel injection system. This engine has been run on a dyno with this system already. I've just got to figure out enough of it to know what's got to come through the firewall, what's got to go down the frame, what's got to go to the battery, which is all the way in the back, all that kind of stuff. So where we're at right this minute, though, is I've started kind of laying out some ideas where things are going to go, but I thought I'd just bring you along. We'll do a walk around, show you what's here for the truck, what's not here, kind of talk about some of the features it's going to have, and then I'll get into wiring it, kind of show you what I come up with as I go along. So you don't have to go through the tedium of watching me pull every wire, but I'll show you the different pieces to kind of give you some different ideas maybe when you're doing your project. Now, an interesting thing is I bought a wiring harness kit, fuse block kit, off of eBay. It was one of the really cheap ones. I really bought it just to see how good or bad they are. And I'm going to show it to you, give you my opinion, and then kind of show you the stuff that we are buying for this vehicle and what I think you should probably be looking for and why. So let's do a walk around so you can get an idea of what's actually here. All right, so here we go. It's for a customer, same guy that owns the 57 Chevy that we did the panel work on and wiring on that as well. Now, I lowered the fuel tank down, otherwise it sits up about yay high, and it's made for that spot specifically, but I lowered it because I've got to get into the frame right there where the tape is. Need to drill in there so that I can run battery cable up and over that on the inside of that frame tube. So we have a battery box here. We're going to build another box exactly the same shape and size, except for only about 3.5 inches deep over on that side, so I can put some components in there. And the inside. Now this truck is only going to be using the gauges. It's got a vacuum booster underneath there for the brakes. So we have to have a brake switch. It's going to have a line lock, so that'll be up underneath the dash. We're going to use that hole right there for a switch for the exhaust cutout so you can go open headers. The hole at the bottom there, that's going to be the ignition switch. This one's going to be a lighter or a plug for the, you know, for a USB. No radio, no heater, no air conditioner. Right over there between the steering wheel, that one's for the headlights. So it's pretty simple system. Up front here, we're going to be mounting some relays for electric fan and the headlights, and then probably on this side also need to do another relay or two because we've got an electric water pump, so I want to be able to keep that spinning after the fact. Well, there you have it. That's Regan's 52 Chevy pickup. All right, so like I said, I'm going to show you where I'm going to lay up some of the locations for some of the parts. I don't want to bore you with the actual wiring because it does take a long time, and the fact that we're not actually doing a lot of the wiring right now. We're just figuring out component location and routing of our wires. getting everything ready so that it can go to paint. So. Here's the truck loaded up, going back to the fabricators so they can finish up a few things before it goes to the paint shop early next week. And you can see is I left a few components in here, and this is mounted on some studs so it can vibrate a little bit, but not damage any of the components. Got pictures of that. There's the map sensor. We'll just run a vacuum line inside the truck so that I don't have to have it hanging out here on the firewall somewhere. And then the fabricator is going to take these bolts out and either turn them into studs or put some studs in there where they're at. And you can kind of see back behind the motor, you can see where, actually maybe you can't, there you go. You can kind of see where the wiring is going to come through, feed the engine off the fuel injection. And then for those of you who've never done it, like in this case, I need somebody to be able to follow where I'm running wires so that they don't fill holes and that kind of stuff. So I like to label everything I can. And then this is just some trimmer line. It's the heavy duty stuff. Like I have a walk behind trimmer, so I just steal it off of it. But I run it wherever I'm gonna need to run wiring. So this one goes up and through the, so this one goes up and through the A-pillar, comes out over here and goes all the way to the dome light, and I can just use it to pull wire in. And then you can see back here, I designed up how I want it, or laid out how I want everything, and then the fabricator is going to make another battery box type well, only about 4 inches deep, and we'll mount all that stuff in there and run our wires through the sides just like the battery cables. What else? Oh, and you can see it on this side as well. So you can see that same trimmer line where I've got clamps, and I just used whatever junky clamps I had, but I put the right bolts in there, and it goes up and over, and then we're running, and you can see it back here in the battery box, same trimmer line, and it goes into the frame. Goes into the frame down here, and you should be able to see it in there. So it goes up through the frame, so they'll fill that hole, but then it comes out up here. Probably can't even see it. It comes out up there and then runs down the frame all the way, and then swaps over the top of the frame back down there a little ways. So it's pretty involved. But next up, go get paint. We've got all our holes and everything else figured out. And when we get it back, we'll actually run all the wire.